Hello there, Lothar, PCT through Hiker 2021. This is part 2 of my gear videos. This is going to focus on my cook system and my water filtration. So again, I'm not going to try and do detailed comparisons with lots of other people's kit or suppliers' kits. I'll just give a background to the thought process I used and why I ultimately settled on the kit I used for the through hike. So first one is my cook set. Now there's cook, no cook, cook, cold soak and no cook. So you can obviously have a stove and heat water and have hot food. You can either have, say, a Talenti little plastic jar that allows you to hydrate food by cold soaking, or you can literally have a no cook where you just have salami and jerky and things like that. And I saw again all three of those on trail, and I kind of used a bit of those all the way through the trail at different times. But again, this is me being a bit old and set in my ways. I actually wanted a stove. I like the idea of having hot drinks. And actually I had the stove all the way through from Mexico all the way through to Canada. Didn't regret it. So my cook set is pretty much this. It is a Toaks 900ml titanium pot. Let me just get this out of the cozy. This is it. It was just about the size. You can do pasta sides in there, and enough water. You can get a nice big hot drink, hot chocolate or something like that. Had a little lid. Inside I had a plastic collapsible cup. Again, various people recommend these. This lasted all the way through the through hike, no problems at all. I also did a pot cozy for my my pot, such that if you're say doing pasta size, what I would do is I'd normally boil the water enough to get it boiling, and then rather than simmer it, I'd actually just put the pot inside the cozy, put the lid on, and let it sit there for 15 minutes whilst it cooked, and that seemed to work fine. The other benefit of this little thing is the fact it served as a beautiful little cup holder for my my collapsible cup, so less chance of it sort of tipping over in the tent. I was surprised to find, I can just put it in there and it worked fine. I had a pocket rocket stove. Now, I had stoves in the past where you have those little ceramic igniters. I've had two stoves in the past with those ceramic, and they failed. So I don't trust them. They're beautiful in theory, but in practice, so basically I had a pocket rocket with no igniter and a small Bic lighter in here. Obviously a small little canister that would go through it, and then I could get all of that into the pot. I could get the collapsible cup in there. Everything just fitted nicely into something which is a 900ml pot, like that. Put the cozy on. That's it. So that worked very well. I had a titanium spoon, long handle, obviously good for if you're doing those mountain house mixing up. Works fine. So again, very happy with that. And I said all that equipment I had all the way through the through hike. Next thing I'm looking at the equipment here is water filtration. Now obviously, I saw people sort of say, oh, mountain streams, mountain springs, yeah, you don't need to filter. I filtered everything. Every time I just didn't want to have any risk of catching anything. And I didn't. So whether I'm being very smart or just very lucky, I don't know. Certainly I would follow the philosophy, filter everything. So I started with, back in the United Kingdom, I had sort of Catadine ceramic filters, which are very heavy. You wouldn't use those on the through hike. I had a Life straw, which is, in my view, pretty pathetic for a through hike. But the most common ones you'll see on trail are the Sawyers and the Soy Squeezes. So I had a Sawyer Mini. This is a new Sawyer Squeeze. I had one of these on trail to start with, and what you do is you can back flush them. So as they start getting slightly clogged, you can back flush them and clean them out. Over time, this was just generally slow. If you're not too worried about timing or anything like that, you can hang it up and let it sort of gravity feed, and yeah, that's what a lot of people did, and they were happy with it. Sometimes you'd see them stuck on top of their smart water bottle like this, and they sort of, filter that way. Obviously, the bottle would suffer after a few hundred times of doing that. I kind of fell out of love with these guys because over time they just were too slow for me. I very much like to sort of hike and then have a rest, have a pause, but I want to be able to filter my water quickly and then just get on the move again. So I was at a point where just at the start of the Sierras, I was getting fed up with this. This was just, I was just taking too long to filter, and a guy called Sherpa on trail showed me his filter system, which is this thing. It's a Catadyne B3 filter. Now it's exactly the same principle as the Sawyer. It's a hollow fibre water filter system, but you can't backflush it. So the good thing about this is its flow is much faster than the soy squeeze, but it degrades quicker because you can't backflush. And what you do is you take this dedicated dirty water bottle, you scoop up, and then you put it on there, and you go squirt, 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 squirt. You can drink through it or filter, and it was just very fast filtering, and I love this. Now, the advice I got from Sherpa was make sure if you're going to look at this, get at least the 1 litre bottle. The 600ml version is probably a bit too annoying for through hike. Get the slightly bigger bottle. It doesn't weigh very much more. I never went back to the soy squeeze. Now, I actually had to end up using 2 more of these, so 2 of these through the rest of my hike. Never regretted it. It was always faster than the soy squeeze, and as I said, I could sort of scoop down, sort of drink as I'm going, or I could just, if I wanted to get on the move quick, I'd filter quick. And I found that, for me personally, I actually like that. So if you're a gravity feeder, I guess it doesn't matter to you, which is fine. So, but again, personal choice. The other backup I had, so if for any reason I had any problems with filters at all, I just had a tab of these little chlorine dioxide tablets. Basically, pop one in for 1 litre. Now, I never use these. Nice to have a backup if you're really stuck and you filter. You know, I heard people in the Sierras they froze their filter solid. So this is a nice backup to have just in case. But I luckily never needed it, and I always slept with my filter, certainly in the cold temperatures. Other water filter systems, you've got these 2-part Aquamira ones where you put 2 drops in. Too fiddly for me for trail. Life straws, as I said previously, not cut out for through hikes in my opinion. Steripens, now these are the ones which are UV light. I had 2 of those in my, certainly living in England. Both failed, utterly useless in my personal opinion, so I wouldn't rely on those as a water filter system. So soy squeeze is okay if you're not too worried about the time it takes to filter, and B3 Catadyne filters if you're wanting to filter fast, but they degrade quicker, and just accept that. But that's it for the moment. One last thing I'm just looking at in terms of just things I carry things into. My stove would actually be in my food bag. I actually had 2 of these. These are Granite Gear. This is a 16 litre. So basically, it's a big bag you can put all the food in. I actually had 2 of these. One which was the bulk of my food, and then another one which was my food for the day. So I put my snacks in, and I could pull out the one bag I wanted. I also carried a few spares. So certainly on the bottles I use, I made sure I carried a couple of spares of bottle tops, the smart water bottles. You'll always lose one at some point, and they weigh nothing. So yeah, that's it for the moment. I'll move on to sort of clothing gear and cold weather gear on my next video. Hope it's useful to you, and best wishes for your future hike. Thank you.